What's going on, people? We are back. We are back with a bang. It's an unbelievable weekend of football that we are about to see. Arsenal just got to do their job tomorrow night, and then we can enjoy Mother's Day on a Sunday and relax and watch some football. Villa versus Spurs, Liverpool versus City. It's going to be an unbelievable Super Sunday, but only for me anyway, if Arsenal do the business tomorrow night. Big up my guest on this channel, but also not for the first time. Back again, Rich from Villa Park Pod. How you doing, bro?
I'm great, mate. Thank you for inviting me on. And yes, talking backstage, what a massive weekend it is going to be. Yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah, I bet you are, man. Deji's back in the house, brother. What are you telling me, fam? You good?
Yeah, man. I'm just happy to be back and happy to see football. Big up Mo, big up Rich. I was just saying, Dan, there's a hierarchy to this sort of thing. It's not, I don't often do shows with Villa fans, so but I'm happy to do it. I'm just kidding.
Deji is
Remember the
definitely
old
back, man.
hierarchy about European Cup winners, we always remember that one.
Absolutely, man. Listen, Deji is definitely back, man. It's been too long. Mo, back on the channel, my bro. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm happy. Can't wait for the weekend to start. Yeah, fine. I know it
I bet,
started
man.
for you guys. It hasn't started for me yet, but yeah.
Well, listen, it's pretty much here for us now, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's get straight into it. Roms should be joining us a little bit later, but I think he's struggling with work, and we can touch on Liverpool City. But first, it's Villa and Spurs, man. Now, people are obviously looking at this game as the one that they want to get through quickly so they can watch the big one. But this is massive for both the clubs, man. This is massive for top four. Aston Villa and Spurs. Villa, Rich, we'll start with you. Off the back of a draw at Ajax going into this game now. The Tottenham didn't have the midweek game, so they should be feeling more refreshed than yourself. But what's your thoughts going into this one, my bro?
Yeah, it's a huge game, and I think that it was evident to see how Emery approached last night's game with regards to some of the changes that he made, bringing one or two players on towards the end, that he is earmarking this game as the big one, this game coming up on Sunday. And yeah, I expect all the big guns to be involved, the likes of McGinn, Leon Bailey. And yeah, it's going to be massive. I mean, if we're obviously 5 points clear at the moment with Tottenham with a game in hand, if we can get that 3 points on Sunday, we have had the upper hand on Tottenham the last three games. So yeah, if we can do that again, 8 points clear, and whatever we are ahead of Man United, that's taken a massive step towards clinching the top four spot.
Yeah, huge, man. I can't lie. Deji, I mean, you're going to Villa Park, and it's a tough place to go, my bro. But you're normally a confident Spurs fan. I imagine you're expecting 3 points on Sunday.
I am. I don't know why Rich is slightly here, shaking his bum slightly. I remember that, when you came to our gaff, let's be real, at that point in the season, we were the first team to play you off the park.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is we just didn't get the result. If Rich is being honest, you
first
didn't
25,
you
30
didn't,
minutes.
you didn't deserve the win.
Yeah.
You didn't even deserve a draw, but you managed to get the 3 points. Look, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Mano to mano. When it comes to the full 11, there's nothing that your club can do. Nothing. I have to speak with a little bit of a Brummy accent here. It looks like, according to Postecoglou, that Spurs will have their full team. We are going to slap you guys right up. I've said it before against Wolves. We were unlucky. There was no Udogie and there was no Pedro Porro. Udogie's back. Porro's back. And you guys are going to get what you deserve. The only thing I will say is that when we play Villa, even under Steven Gerrard, you guys are nasty. And that Matty Cash, let me just speak to you.
Oh, yes.
If Matty Cash does what I think he might do, Matty Cash, be prepared to get fly kicked in the middle of the road when you go and pick up the newspaper the next time you pick it up. Because Matty Cash is a disgusting piece of work. Dirty, always causing injuries. He caused injury to Matt Doherty. He caused an injury to Bentancur. And I don't know who he's going to try and cause an injury to this weekend. But yeah, look, I'm confident. I think Spurs have played really good football. I'm excited because everyone's been telling us that Aston Villa is a fortress, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to put that to bed this weekend, hopefully.
Well, listen, Mo, let me bring you in, man. There's a comment here I'm going to chuck up and see if you can have a discussion around it. Marcus believes that Aston Villa have a better 11, and I think Aston Villa have a very good 11. I think Tottenham have a very good 11 as well. But let me ask you where your head's at with these teams, because it's two teams doing well. Where are you at, bro?
To be honest, yeah, Ange Postecoglou made Spurs fans talk like Deji. This is what happened. This is it. He's getting the best out of these. Some of these players are just not good enough, but he's getting the best out of them. But you're 5 points behind. You lost the game before. Was that at your ground?
Yeah.
Yes, you dominated position. So you did what Pep does. Yeah, but we had positions. Yeah, but you lost the game at the end, and you're coming in and with all this energy. Listen, I like Ange Postecoglou. He's someone who's exciting. I like to watch Spurs now. But for you to say that Villa are just inferior this season, I think you're just chatting rubbish, to be honest. Every single, like, there are the
if you beat Villa and we win on Jamie Hand,
it doesn't matter. Even if you beat Villa, that doesn't. You talk after the game, but before the game, you lost the game, didn't you? Did you or did you not lose the game at your ground?
Yeah, but who?
Let me ask the chat something. I don't know how many people are here.
No, but who was the better team, though? Mo, you know this.
Doesn't
you
matter.
can still lose a
That's
game
not
and be the better team.
Okay, sometimes you were the better team. Let me ask you something. Man United were the inferior team against Villa, and you won the game. Will Villa fans say, "Oh, but we're better than you"? That's not gonna happen. It only happened from you
but
guys.
Villa is better than Man U, though.
But Man United won. Villa fan didn't.
But Man U won, but we all know that Man United won by
what you are saying is illogical, bro.
No, but what I'm trying to say, listen, let me.
Can I just finish my point? You're just very sensitive, Deji. Just let me finish my point, bro. Let me finish my point. There are a lot of metrics, there are a lot of stats that Villa are superior to you, right? In terms of chances created, shots on target, they have the better striker. Probably Kamara will get into your team. Yes, Madison is there. Their defense look sometimes better than yours. You've freaking conceded 40 goals. Yes, you have a very attacking-minded football coach. It looks very good on the eye, but you have to look at your team and say, how are we conceding 40 goals? 4-0. 4-0 or 39? Is that 39 or 40 goals? My point, Deji, you are not going to this game to Villa Park favorites. I wouldn't advise anyone to put money on Spurs. I think if you win that game, it is a surprise to a lot of people. People are predicting a draw or Villa win. If you win that game, it's a surprise, Deji. It's not the predictions, because Villa at home are good. They dominated teams like Man City, like Arsenal. They are a good team. So for you to say that you are superior, you are talking like you're a superior team to Villa, even if they're playing at home. Yes. You are not. You are behind them on the table, bro.
Can I make my point now?
This is Deji. Yeah, go ahead. You can do whatever you want.
And Rich, real talk, I've been talking about Villa from before this season. So catch me. I've been saying that I rate Villa and I rate Newcastle. Anyone that's followed me long enough knows I've been saying this. It might not have happened last year, but I was saying last season I expected Villa to finish above Arsenal. That was a thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, when you guys lost to Man United,
so you predicted Spurs to finish above Arsenal. So you predicted Spurs to finish above Arsenal.
I said that out there. I said that Man U were lucky to win that game, because if you look at it, that guy, I don't know if it was Manu, and then what's his name, Dallo, just quickly kicks the ball in and they get
McTominay header.
And I said that Man U is so dusty like Tutankhamun's coffin, that I'm not expecting them to go on a run from here. And look, lo and behold, a couple games later against Fulham, they get slapped up. Meaning that we could see they were dusty, and when you're dusty, the dusty will shine through. Now with Spurs, it's slightly different. I've been calling out and saying that when Tottenham have their full 11, we could go toe-to-toe with Man City, we can go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, we can go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. It looks like this weekend against Villa, we're going to have our full 11. Now, if Tottenham have their full 11, I'm telling you, we'll be too strong for you. That's my opinion. But I was saying that we would have slapped up Wolves But in that game against Wolves, we lost Udogie and we lost Pedro Porro. Now, when you're in the top 5, as you know, 1-2 players make a difference now. We're getting to the business end of the season. Big players make big difference. I'm saying Tottenham's full 11, you're not fully strengthened. So I don't know how Villa's going to stop Spurs if they're not fully strengthened. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying to you.
I think Kamara, well, obviously Kamara's out, but I think Pau Torres will be back. He got 45 minutes yesterday. Leon Bailey will be back in, obviously. Ollie Watkins up front. So I think we'll be as good as full strength. Maybe Ramsey plays.
I was going to say, who are you missing then? Just Kamara? Is that it from the first 11?
Maybe missing Ramsey, but again, he's
not really played much
whether he's
11,
like whether he's full strength. But I think we should have the majority of players. It's going to be a massive game, and I guess one of the things I would say, I totally agree with both of you about, Man United were very, very lucky to beat Villa, and they went on they obviously lost after that, and we were fortunate to beat Tottenham away from home early this season. But what Villa carried on doing was we carried on winning. We've carried on that run. So I would say we've probably gone through our dodgy spell. We had a bit of a dodgy spell over Christmas, just after Christmas. Now we're kind of 4 Premier League wins out of 5. I think we're going into this with pretty decent form. And yes, I guess a draw doesn't necessarily hurt us too much if it happens to be a draw. But yeah, whatever it is, it's going to be a big game, big game.
Where is this game going to be won and lost, Deji, in terms of the pitch? Is it midfield for you, up top? What's happening?
I don't know if we've got Richarlison back for this game. I look, to be honest, both teams play the high line. It's the midfield battle because you've got.
Hold on, Deji. Richarlison. You think Richarlison makes a difference?
Bro, he's banging in. He was banging in goals, bro. He's got 12 Premier League goals so far this season.
All right then. So you think Richarlison is your best 11? Is part of your
he's
best?
He's part of our best 11. Yeah.
Probably you're the only Spurs fan that I heard said that ever.
Yeah, but I was the only Spurs fan that said, if you have patience with Richarlison, he'll get double figures this season.
All right. You think Richarlison is a good player?
I think he's all right, bro. I think people are over egging how bad he is. He plays for the Brazil national team, for crying out loud.
All right, then. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, unless you're saying
I really Brazil have to qualify to.
Are you saying Brazil is the equivalent of Samoa?
Yeah, kind of. The Brazil with I'm sorry, Brazil with Richarlison is one of the. Okay, so let me just put this out there. Richarlison is the worst Brazil number 9 I have seen in my life. And I've seen Wagnerlov, I've seen Eder, I've seen plenty of them. I'm too old to not see Brazil number 9s. Richarlison is by far the worst number 9 to ever play for Brazil national team. Ever.
Wow.
That's my opinion. He's worse than Fred. Way worse. Richarlison cannot control a football. I would not take Richarlison in my 5-a-side team. Richarlison isn't good enough to play in my 5-a-side team. Richarlison cannot control the football. He's slow. He acts like the tough guy, and he isn't good enough. Ange Postecoglou is a genius that he's getting a tune out of him. He's an absolute magician because he's putting him in the right places. Richarlison, if it was somebody else with this Ange Postecoglou guy as a number 9, Spurs would have been higher on the table. Richarlison, an absolute bomb.
Has Son been playing up top for you though, Dej? And then you've had Richarlison left and Kulusevski right, or has that not been happening?
We have fluidity in our forward line. We can play Son up top and Richarlison out on the left, but I feel Richarlison playing out.
Timo Werner is better than Richarlison. Do you agree or not, Deji?
No.
No, you think Richarlison's a better player than Timo Werner?
1,000%.
So you wouldn't start Timo Werner on the left, Son up top, and Kulusevski on the right?
No. And you know why?
All right.
Because Timo Werner doesn't want to touch the ball. He doesn't want the ball. And what I don't like are players that aren't physical. So as soon as you want to come next to Werner, he wants, let me just give the ball away so you don't touch me, so you don't hurt me. I'd rather Richarlison doing bish bash bosh than somebody who's running into space but doesn't really want to have a 50-50 challenge. I don't get that.
I don't
football's a
like
business.
Werner. I don't rate
I
Werner.
don't
I don't like Werner.
Yeah, I
He's just
think he
better.
runs
I
off
don't
the
like
mind,
Werner.
Ellis.
He's just better than Richarlison for me.
Nah,
Like I don't like Werner. I think he's an absolute terrible player in
He
the Premier
scored
League.
last week, didn't he? Werner scored
He
last
did.
week, though.
He
Yeah,
did.
but
Yeah.
mate, I could have scored that goal, mate. So that doesn't mean
Yeah.
So listen, I've never had Mo and Deji on together. It's actually quite funny. I didn't expect this, but it's fun. I'm here for it. Let me before I come to Rich, Deji, you say it's gonna be you're gonna have too much for Villa. I think it's gonna be a tighter game than you're expecting. But what are you expecting this to go to do? Because you're saying that last time you played, I must admit, what the game that I remember, Spurs should have been like 2-3-0 up within the first half hour, fluffed their lines, missed their chances. At Villa Park, you don't normally get a game like that, bro. It's very, very hard, very difficult to go there. It's unbelievable atmosphere, very good ground. Are you expecting to be like pow, pow, pow in the first 25 again, or do you think you're going to see this one out and nick it?
No, I think Spurs can nick it, man. I mean, for me, I think I predicted a 2-1 victory, and I'm only going 2-1 because Villa do have momentum at home, and they've been poor away from home. But I just think based on the previous game, I know Rich says the last 3 games, but generally speaking, Spurs have done all right at Villa Park. Really, if you look at it and you look back, we've got results there. And if Tottenham have improved the way that I think they have, and the way that we all have seen them improve, then I think we can slow down that Villa train. On the other hand, if Villa win, then kudos to them and well done to them. We've still had a good season regardless. But I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is what's going to determine how far Spurs have come as a team. And remember that Villa, you already started getting that momentum from the end of last season under Unai. Postecoglou hasn't even done bloody 9 months. So the fact that we're even having this conversation is already testament to the work that's already been done at my club. And I think Tottenham can finish fourth. I expect Spurs to finish fourth. And for Spurs to finish fourth, they have to win on the weekend. It's as simple as.
No, I agree. If you want to come and be favourites for fourth, you've got to win. I still think Spurs have got a great opportunity to get that fourth place. The only thing I've ever said that let them down from before a ball was kicked to now is injuries. And they've had a lot of injuries, Spurs. You'd like to think for their sake that they won't have many more because they're only playing once a week now to the end of the season. So they should be, if they win this game, favourites for that fourth spot. But Rich, I don't think this is going to be easy for Tottenham. I don't like going Villa Park. I had a horrible time there at Christmas time. I did. We lost 1-0 to you. And it's a tough place to go, man. You've done very well there. Beat Man City there. Beat Arsenal there. It's been impressive, mate. Do you think you can get one over these Tottenham boys?
Absolutely. I mean, it is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a great game. I imagine there'll be goals, like a lot of goals in the game, or at least lots of chances. We seem to have got over our blip at home, like obviously losing to Newcastle, losing to Man United. Good result against Forest, where we kind of felt. I mean, the United game, it kind of felt we were back to our best, even though even though we lost. But yeah, I think we can definitely get the result. It is a huge game because we've got some tough games coming up. We've got the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal still to come. That being said, Tottenham have been known to drop a clanger here or there with a game that they probably should win, and they tend to come unstuck. But yeah, so I mean, even if the result goes Tottenham's way or Villa's way, there's still a long way to go. But that victory would put us, well in the driving seat to get that fourth spot. And yeah, I think we can do it. We've got the best striker on form at the moment in the Premier League, so he causes problems to Tottenham as well.
That's where I want to go next. That's where I want to segue. Mo, I'm coming to you, man. Before I come back to Dej, after Haaland, is this guy the next best striker for you in the Premier League, Ollie Watkins?
He's good. I like Ollie Watkins, but I just don't think he's that amazing. Like I like him. I like Ollie Watkins. He's just a good forward, but I don't think
What
he's
does he?
amazing as
What
well.
does he have? What are his flaws then?
His
So
movement
what
is
stops
good.
him?
He's strong. I think like some of his touches are not the greatest. Some of his dribbling aren't the greatest. You know what I mean?
Sounds like
Sometimes he
Richarlison to
misses
me.
easy chances. But I think
Just saying. I'm just saying, Mo.
okay, if Ollie Watkins, if Haaland is the number 9 out of 10 in this current era, let's just establish this. Ollie Watkins would be a 7, Richarlison would be a 3 out of 10. That is what it would be. Ollie Watkins is very good. Also, he has a lot of, he knows how to assist, he knows how to pass and everything. I think he's developing very well. Sometimes I think he has this, I don't know how to say it other than just.
I agree.
Sometimes he
I
misses
agree.
easy chance. Bozo Jean, you know what I mean? Like sometimes he loses his head in front of a goal. Like sometimes his decision making is kind of lacking. He gets excited, overexcited. Sometimes I don't know if Rich agrees or not. Like
yeah, he's got better, as you say.
Yeah.
He was a real purple patch player where he'd score goals in bunches and then he'd go a long time without scoring, and you'd be like, what's happened to Ollie Watkins? He seems to have cut that out of his game, but there are times where he's one of those players who's kind of good at everything, but he's not excellent at anything, if you know what I mean. So he's a good finisher. He's good at running in the channels. He's good at holding the ball up, but he's not excellent at holding the ball up, or he's not excellent at finishing. And that's sometimes where he comes unstuck, because at certain times, those parts of his game will not be as good as they should be.
I think personally, I mean, I didn't
But
never
he's fantastic at the minute.
Yeah, and I never said this, but his stats are incredible, man. Like I looked at it over the last couple, and I never, until I properly looked, I thought, whoa, he's been scoring between 10 and 16 goals for the last 5 seasons in a row, whether it be for
Yeah.
Brentford in the Championship or for Villa. So, Mr. Consistent. Let me ask you as a panel here, who would you rather have? Who would you rather sign, sorry, Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney? Mo?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Actually, it's a very, very good question.
So if you're Arsenal, let's say, because I know you don't care, you're Milan, you're into Milan, right? But if you're Arsenal,
No, but if I'm looking at Arsenal,
I've always said Tony.
I would
Always
sign.
said Tony, but a lot
I
of people
don't
are trying to
know.
change my
I
mind.
don't
So
know. I actually don't know. I actually think Tony is a gamble, and we spoke about this before. The way he looks, very good. Tony plays in a very defensive team. Remember, Aston Villa are a position-based team now, which is similar to Arsenal. They aren't to the level of Arsenal, right? Brentford, they're just a long ball counter-attacking team. He looks fantastic on the eye, but remember, he has 5 meters by 5 meters around him, Ivan Toney, every time he has the ball, because it's a counter-attacking team. Ollie Watkins plays in much tighter spaces. He's always have a defender behind his back. Like I think it's Tony is just different than Ollie Watkins. I think Tony is untested in a position-based team. Ollie Watkins have had seasons with a position-based team. It's Aston Villa, so especially this season, and I don't know. To be honest with you, I would lose sleep over it. Then, like if I say this, I would be harsh on the other one. To be honest,
yeah. No, I think it's fair because I've always said I wanted Ivan Toney because I feel like he's more of an all-round centre forward than Ollie Watkins, right? But Watkins has been phenomenal, man. He really has. Deji, what would you go with, man?
Look, both are good. I think Ollie Watkins. I mean, funny enough, both of them. One played for Brentford before, and you know, Ivan Toney is the predecessor. I look at it. Which one would I prefer at Spurs under our current system? I think Watkins would thrive under Postecoglou. In fact, I think both of them would thrive. I just like the fact that Watkins can play on the wing and drive with the ball, and that's probably why I pick Watkins over Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney is an out-and-out number 9, an Alan Shearer, you know, an Andy Cole type. Whereas Ollie Watkins, I mean, has this thing where, you know, under Gerrard, he did play on the left mid, didn't he? Left attack.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and so because of that versatility, I would go for Watkins.
It's an interesting one, man.
Really? Hold on. People say that Toney has better footballing abilities, technical ability than Watkins. I think that's what people say.
I think he's got more to his game in terms of, I think there's a lot more hold-up play. I'm not so sure Ollie Watkins has got that part to his game. I don't know, Rich might disagree, watches him more than me, but I think Ivan Toney definitely has a little bit more of a natural number 9, like Deji's saying, which is why I've always looked at him. But it's never really, for me, looked at Watkins and thought, yeah, Arsenal. But I don't know if you saw Billy on here arguing with us, Richard, the other day, saying that Watkins would never go Arsenal, he'd stay at Aston Villa. Man, he's a massive gooner, and he definitely would if he were interested. But I think he'd be a lot of money. I think they talk about Tony going for like a ridiculous amount. Watkins isn't going to go for cheap either, is he? So do you think you can keep hold of him, Rich?
I mean, money talks, doesn't it? So I do think that we could keep hold of him. I think there's probably players who we would be looking to let go of, or be looking to listen to offers over Watkins. But yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me, I'd have said, just take Ivan Toney. Just take Ivan Toney. He's the better player. He's the better player. But yeah, it's I think we can keep hold of him. But yeah, money talks. If a big bid comes in, then there's all this talk this week has been about Villa needing the money. So who knows? Who knows what could happen? But yeah, I do think there's probably players that we would let go of certainly before we'd entertain bids for Watkins. And if we do manage to get the Champions League football, then we've got a lot bigger bargaining position.
100%, man. Listen, Deji, before you go, because I know you've got to run. Instead of me asking you for prediction, which you've already done, let me ask you simply: how many of these Aston Villa players are you taking in the first 11 of Tottenham?
1. I've been persuaded by Villa fans that Douglas Luiz is legit, and because of that, I think I would take Douglas Luiz into that Spurs team. I think he brings a dynamic that maybe our midfielders don't have, and maybe 2. Let me not be disingenuous. I think Richarlison, as much as I back him, and I think he's done an all right job, despite what Mo says, I would take Watkins as a bit of competition for Richarlison, and yeah, those 2.
World Cup winning goalkeeper, maybe.
Huh?
World Cup winning goalkeeper.
Oh my God, he's like he would take.
I prefer Vicario. People in the chat are asking me about Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey, I need to see more of him, because for me, he just looks like a road runner.
Musa Diaby.
He's got potential, but again, with what we've got in our squad, I don't think we need them.
I'd have Diaby over Kulusevski, man. That Kulusevski's gone missing for ages now.
He's gone missing, but when Kulusevski's on fire, he's on fire, you know what I mean? And I like to leave room for dips in form for these players.
Deji, it's always entertaining, my bro. Listen,
ask Rich the same question. How many Spurs players would he take?
Yeah, go on in, Rich. Go on, Rich.
I like Maddison.
Yeah.
You like Son?
Yeah. Respect it.
I like Udogie. So you're probably looking at them 3. Bentancur maybe as well. I'd probably say them 4.
I respect.
Not Van de Ven. I
like Konsa. I like Pau Torres. I think they're an excellent.
Pau Torres is better than Van de Ven. Wow.
In terms of Villa, like if you look at the way when he plays and the passes he makes is fantastic for us.
I
like Van de Ven
ahead of yours, Rich.
Possibly.
It's a very strange system Villa play, because Konsa plays right back.
Yeah, Konsa can play right back sometimes.
And it's very strange,
he's better than
because when
Matty
when Matty Cash plays, they switch to 3 in the back, and Matty Cash plays like a wing back. So I'm Pedro Porro, maybe, to be honest.
I mean, John McGinn is fantastic as well. He's so underrated. Like he's everything to Villa.
I love John McGinn.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
Yeah.
In the league,
he's definitely the most underrated in Villa for sure.
Leon Bailey at the minute, I mean, he's far better than Musa Diaby as it stands. I mean, Leon Bailey's up there with the best wingers in the Premier League at this moment in time. He's phenomenal.
I would agree, but I still think he hasn't. In Germany when he was at Leverkusen, he was really sourcing, and I think this season he's showing us something.
Yep. But
for me to be convinced of Leon Bailey, I just want to see a bit more, because sometimes he can go missing in games. And that's why, if Leon Bailey is more consistent, then I would have mentioned him. But I think he's probably more inconsistent than consistent, if that makes any sense. Like, there's so many games where he goes missing, but when he does come good, he comes good and he comes good strong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got a bit of he's certainly the most exciting player for Villa at the moment, but it has been a long time coming. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously got, I think he's something like 8 Premier League goals, 8 assists this season, so he is showing it this season. But the last 2 seasons, he had a lot of making up to do.
Bailey?
Yeah, Bailey. Yeah.
You know what the problem with Bailey is? He shows how overrated Diaby was. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember in the beginning of the season where people were saying about Diaby, oh my God, Arsenal missed on Diaby, Man City missed on Diaby, and all this talk. I like Diaby. He's a very good player.
One second, Mo. Deji, I know you got to shoot, my guy. Thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
my brother.
Mo. Thanks, man. Thanks, Rich.
Good luck for Sunday, Deji. Good luck. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go on, Mo. Sorry, bro.
Like this Bailey talk in the beginning of this Diaby talk in the beginning of the season. I looked at him and I know Diaby was in Spain, wasn't he? No. Diaby was in Leverkusen. It's a Leverkusen. Right? And I watched him a couple of times, and I'm like, you look good and everything. You're exciting, but you aren't to the level that will take another team to the next level. And people said, oh, Liverpool should have signed him, Arsenal, Man City. And I'm like, I looked at him like, Bailey will provide a competition for this guy because I like Bailey. And now we look at it. If Diaby was that great, he wouldn't have been benched by Bailey. He wouldn't have. Diaby's a good option. He's a good player. But he isn't the guy that said, oh my God, some Arsenal fans said I will take Diaby and maybe shift Saka to the left. You're kidding me. People said Diaby to replace Mohamed Salah in a year or two.
I wanted Diaby. I looked
at as a competition for Saka.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people were talking about Diaby as one of the best right wings in the league, bro. Like, seriously.
Think about it, Mo. The first few games, he was absolutely balling out.
So was Doku.
Yeah, he had an injury throughout the season, and then Bailey came through. And I think at some point, Emery wanted to play Bailey and Diaby together, but for whatever reason, he hasn't quite been able to do that. And then, other players have started playing well. McGinn in that position further forward. Tielemans started coming into a little bit of form, so he hasn't really been able to do it. But yeah, I'm sure Moussa Diaby will come back. But yeah, at the moment,
he played 4-4-2, played Bailey on the right and Diaby behind Oli Watkins, and I'm like,
yeah.
So both of them would go to the same square on the right side. And
yeah.
And I was watching the game like, Emery, are you seeing what we're seeing? Or why are you forcing this lineup? It's not working, bro. Just change it.
Yeah,
it's weird, man.
It was kind of 4-4-2 straight as well. And like he's like 4-4-2. Jean McGinn was left, Kamara and Douglas was in the middle, and it was just all over the place. Place.
Yeah, I happen to like both Bailey and Moussa Diaby. I don't think either of them are going to go to the top level, but I do think both of them are good. So we'll see, man. Before we move to the title race talk, I want to talk, Rich, about the Conference League very quickly. You drew Ajax last night. You didn't drew Ajax, you know what I mean? You drew Ajax and you drew against Ajax. So I mean, Billy was out there. I texted him, and he was like, "Do you know what? I'll take that. Go back to Villa Park, and then beat him." Not the easiest of draws, mate. It's probably not one you looked at and thought, "Oh, that'll do." You probably thought, "Oh, really?" One of the harder teams, alongside maybe Fiorentina, who I think actually got done over last night or got quite close to. But what are your thoughts on this competition? I think you're going to win it, but Billy's still not sure. Where are you at with this, bro?
Yeah, I do fancy us to win it. I really do. But it's you say kind of, I said the same thing. You're taking 0-0 away from home and you take them back to Villa Park. But Ajax could get a goal on the break and then shut up shop. Like, it's by no means over or anything like that. So yeah, I agree with you. It's one of those where you want to beat the best in that competition. I guess Ajax are up there, but it would have been a good semi-final or even final rather than the last 16 tie. So yeah, there's a lot on this game. But I do, like I said at the start, I think Emery had one eye on Tottenham on Sunday. Get a decent result. It wasn't a good performance at all, but we didn't lose, and then we can kind of take that into Thursday, and then we've only got West Ham next Sunday anyway, so that should be an easy one.
Love it, man. Love it to be an easy one. West Ham. Lawless last night, he was crying, man, absolutely crying when Freiburg beat him. After coming on here, me and Billy saying, "Oh, Freiburg, that's easy. We'll walk against them." Like that. And then they lost 1-0. Did make me laugh. Mo, let me quickly read out some names for you. Tell me anyone that you feel like can beat Aston Villa in this competition, other than Ajax, who they've got. You might think Ajax can beat them. So let me know if you do. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Lille, Dynamo Zagreb, Fiorentina, who beat Maccabi
Lil
Haifa
might,
in the
then
95th minute last night, and
Fiorentina, Lil maybe.
Fenerbahce, Fiorentina, Dynamo Zagreb, Lille, Maccabi Tel Aviv. Any of those? Fiorentina.
Yeah, Fiorentina might be. Lille might have. I actually think it's a very tough game against Ajax. 0-0 is very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. They might be knocked out. And Emery, I know he takes the competition seriously, but he's focused now on making Champions League because it's different for Villa than Sevilla or Villarreal in La Liga. Like, I think, I'm not sure about you, Rich, but I'm looking at this and I think you get in top 4 this season. And I know that you would say it's more important to win Conference League because you want a trophy, you want a European trophy. But I don't think Conference League, if you would have to get Champions League next year or win the Conference League, which one would you get?
This is the question. Like earlier on, I was on this show, and I said Conference League. I said Conference League all the way. But as the season goes on, and then that Champions League gets closer and closer,
yes,
it's so difficult because, and obviously the financial position of Aston Villa, the potential of players moving on if you don't make it in the Champions League after being so close. It's so difficult. I do think. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards Champions League qualification now. Like in terms of the logical answer, glory. I would love the Conference League, but in terms of logic, you'd have to say getting the Champions League just because of what it would bring to the club.
You could do both, man. You could do both.
We could do both. Yeah, absolutely.
There's only one. You could do both, but I don't know if it is 5 positions this season. Does anyone know?
It will be between Germany and England.
Yes,
that's what it looks like right now because Italy are, I think, ahead.
Yeah, Italy are way ahead. So I think West Ham need to do well against Freiburg, and obviously Villa need to go through against Ajax to kind of push that up because Liverpool will carry on doing well. Arsenal should do all right, and Man City should do well. So it's Villa and West Ham that need to book their ideas up.
Arsenal should do all right. I know. They should do all right.
They should do.
I hope so, man. I always hope for Arsenal to do all right. Listen, I hope we do get 5 places because it's good for us, obviously, as a country. I think it is a bit mad. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are quickly about Champions League qualifications, because there's a lot of debate about it should be who wins the competitions. So the winner of the FA Cup and League Cup and the first place and runner-up are the 4 places that get Champions League. Some people say, yeah, top 4 is fair enough. Some people say it's a disgrace to come 5th in the league and get to play Champions League. Some people say you're not a champion of anything, so why should it be called the Champions League? Where are you at with this, boys? Do you think like it's fine as it is? Do you think that qualification should be the 4 best teams in the league, or do you think it should be changed to something else? What do you think?
4 best teams in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. Forget the cup, bro. Wigan got relegated and won the cup. You wouldn't.
Would it change?
You wouldn't want Wigan to be in the Champions League representing England if it's point-based system, isn't it?
So if I'm playing devil's advocate, would it not make League Cup and FA Cup glory again? Like, wow, this is important again now.
Yeah, it would, but I still think it's just there's so many games for you to consider making that big of a change, in my opinion. Because I think the Carabao Cup is just 4 games. You get 4 games, you win the freaking thing. You win 4 games and you reach a Champions League spot. I think that's unfair for someone who played 38 games and get 4th place. I think it's unfair. Also, there is a draw that makes a big difference. You can get a Man City, I think last season in the FA Cup, didn't face any Premier League team until they reached the final, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember.
They beat us in the first round.
In the first round, yeah, okay. And then after this, Anyway, you get my point. The draw can be
Yeah,
so easy for you to reach a final, and now it's a coin toss. You know what I mean? And you are taking that from someone who played 38 games, sweat and everything on the pitch to get a Champions League spot, and then you're like, oh yeah, easy draw, hot and cold balls, because we want this team to reach the Champions League. Come on,
Rich.
Yeah, I think the days of kind of, you know, going back to, you know, I guess what some people might call the glory years of when it was the league winners only and the Champions League and stuff like that. It's gone. You know, it's all about, there's more good teams, there's more top teams, there's more money involved. So I think yes, as Mo says, you know, 38 games, if you've shown that you've got the consistency to finish in the top four. I mean, if you look at the point totals that teams have to get now, it's crazy. So yeah, I think that's fair. Maybe there's an argument for the 5th position. Like if you're going down to like 5th position, maybe there's an argument there for, you know, some form of cup winner to get it instead of 5th position. But look, most of the big teams win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup anyway. So it's not like they don't necessarily take it seriously as it is. They might not take it seriously right at the start, but certainly when it gets to the later rounds, they are taking it seriously because they want that trophy. So yeah, I think top 4 is fair enough. And then, like I say, if it goes to 5th, you've still kind of, you know, the league's difficult now. So you've shown that you've been fairly consistent. But yeah, there might be an argument for that, for a cup position to get it instead of 5th. What happens in the Euro? You know, if Liverpool win the Europa League, because Europa League get Champions League as anyway, what happens if Liverpool win the Europa League and obviously they're going to finish in the top 4? Do we get another extra spot?
Really good point. I suppose you would go to 7th place, would it? 6th place, 6th, 7th?
I don't know.
Have to look into that. Don't know. Maybe the chat will let us know. I don't actually know. Yeah. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it goes down. You'll have 8th place will be the Conference League or whatever.
Maybe Lawless will have a chance at the Champions League. You never know.
Can't get him off that show, man, every year. I thought this was the year, but we'll have to see. It's mad. Listen, there's obviously massive game this weekend between Liverpool and Manchester City. But I want to ask Mo an unrelated question first. I was on the show last night saying about why I believe Inter Milan could be dark horses for a Champions League. Am I crazy? Is that a wild take?
The fact that you say dark horses is insulting, actually.
Go on, man. Talk to me.
No, because we're the best team in Europe. Factually speaking, we are. And we reached the final last year. And we played...
You know what I mean by that term, right? Because no one's talking about you, right?
No, they are. That's the thing. Okay, so English pundits are, because they're idiots. That's completely different.
There we go. That's what I mean.
It's completely different. But no, to be honest, the dark horse in the competition is Arsenal, actually, to be honest, if you get past Porto.
Okay.
I think so. The reason why I'm saying that, for a team that this is the first year, and your manager had zero experience in Champions Leagues, majority of your players have not played together. That team by itself didn't play in the Champions League. Remember the Inter team that reached the final last year, got knocked out by Liverpool the year before, losing 2-0 and winning 1-0 at Anfield. So you need experience in that matter. But Inter, though, we are a very good team. Like on paper, on the eye, stats, league position. Even against Atletico Madrid, we should have been 3-4-0. Like it should have been 3-4-0, and we just missed chances. The problem with Inter now is that we're going to one of the toughest grounds in Europe, which is the Wanda Metropolitano. Like we can actually get out and get knocked out easily by Atletico Madrid, and it wouldn't be a surprise. Like if Inter lose 2-0 to Atletico Madrid or 3-1, people wouldn't be surprised. This Atletico Madrid, anybody can go there and lose. You know what I mean? But I'm expecting my team to be superior. But in the Champions League, I believe there is no team that I'm scared of. Probably a little bit of Man City, especially going to the Etihad. But I think we'll see how Man City will be against Arsenal, especially in the end of March. But I think, in my opinion, like Inter is not a dark horse. We should be. I think I'm looking at Inter now, and I think we look better than Real Madrid, for example, in the majority of the aspects, especially with the injuries they have, with no Courtois, no Alaba, no what's his name, Militao. You know what I mean? So I think we look We look very, very strong, to be honest. And our
I
manager
agree.
is a very good cup manager. Very, very good one.
Manager's a very good manager, bro. I think, let alone cup manager. I think he's a very good manager. Very, very impressed by what Simeone Inzaghi is doing, man. So long may it continue as far as you're concerned, bro, with Inter Milan. Rich, let's talk to you about Liverpool and City, because we're not going to go into Arsenal Brentford. It's a massively important game as far as we're concerned, but it's not one that all eyes are on. It is, of course, at Anfield. Just talk to me, man. How do you see this one going? Liverpool got a couple of injuries. I believe most of their players are back other than Jota, Alisson, and Trent. So it's not like they've got kids out or like they did in the Carabao Cup extra time. But City have got a very, very good side, and most of their players back, man. What do you see happening, bro?
It's always difficult because we tend to big these games up like as huge games, and then what happens is that they end up being kind of like both teams cancelling each other out, or kind of damp squib of games. But it has all the hallmarks to be a huge game. Nunes is in great form, Haaland's back in form, Foden's playing fantastically well. So yeah, it's so difficult to call. I mean, would Liverpool be happy with a draw? Possibly. Again, if they win, though, it takes them like further ahead. So yeah, it's so hard to call. It's so hard to call. But yeah, both teams are playing so well at the minute. I think if City can impose their game, I think they've probably got a little bit more than Liverpool have. But then, with regards to all of the kind of emotion behind it, I think Liverpool could use that to carry them through. So, yeah, it's so difficult. I think probably just about quality-wise, if, as I said, if City can impose themselves, I think they've got the quality to shine through.
Mo, am I underestimating this Liverpool side by thinking that Man City are going to win this 2-1?
Yeah.
Or has Liverpool got what it takes?
Nobody in the world goes to Anfield and be favorites. I would be surprised if Man City win the game. I'll sit here and be surprised. Nobody in the world at the current moment for this Liverpool team, this is not Liverpool team of last season, goes to Anfield and actually be favorites to win the game. It doesn't matter who you are, if it's Man City, Arsenal, Real Madrid, it doesn't matter. You got to draw Anfield. You were the inferior team. I believe that this game logically will be Liverpool winning or a draw. If Man City win, I think it will be very, very big surprise. Even with Liverpool injuries, they have Mohamed Salah back. They have Van Dijk, best player in the league, in my opinion. Best player in the league overall. Szoboszlai is back. McAllister staying with a out of this world. Even Darwin Núñez, who I don't like, look good now at the current moment. And for me, I'm looking at this Liverpool team, and they have enough weapons to actually be the anti-City, if that makes sense. This is the Liverpool team that should be the anti-City even at home, to be honest. Indo's playing well. Konate today, they said he's not. He might play the game. He's all right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he might play the game. He's all right. He said they're going to just assess the fitness, and he's not ruled out of the Sunday game at all. So we'll see how it is. But I don't think. Listen, City concede goals, and this Liverpool team, what they do, they score goals. So I think they can be the anti-City. I'll be very, very surprised if this City team go to Anfield and win the game.
Do you know who the last team to beat City was, Dan?
Us. Villa.
1-0.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy.
20 games ago, or 21 games ago, something like that.
Yeah, phenomenal side, man. Phenomenal side. Listen, there's a poll in the chat. I've just put Liverpool City or a draw. At the moment, it's very, very close across the board. Literally 33% of each at the moment. And that's just turned to Man City. Yeah, a lot of people unsure on this one. I think this is going to be a Man City win 2-1. I just think they're going to have too much for them personally this time. 25 years and Man City have won twice at Anfield. That is crazy. Those sort of stats, they don't go forever. The probability of them changing that is likely to be soon, and I think it will be. It will be on Sunday. I think if Liverpool win, I don't see them dropping many points. I'll tell you what, actually, Rich, if Liverpool win, I'm relying on you, man, because you're their hardest game after that.
Yeah, that's like the second last game of the season, isn't it?
Mate, that's the only place I can see Liverpool really struggling. Like they got to obviously host Spurs at Anfield. I expect they'll probably beat them at Anfield. But Liverpool and beat City, they really are strong favourites for the league. Like it's crazy. Manchester City, however, they beaten United. If they beat Liverpool and then Arsenal, they're going to go win the league. So I think this March is massive because then obviously we've got them at the end of the month. This is absolutely crazy for me, man. Like it's really hard to call. I'm going to stick by what I've said. I don't like changing and flip flopping during the season. I'm going to go with Man City to win it because I've said that from the start. And it's horrible for me to say that as a Gooner. A lot of people are saying to me, man, it's Arsenal. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I heard that last season. Like it didn't happen. Yeah. So this season is different. We're chasing the pack. I get it. We're on fire. One of the best teams to watch at the moment. All that stuff. I get it. But I can't ever write this Man City side off, man. Like not under Pep. I can't do that. Might have been able to under Mancini or Pellegrini or Mark Hughes or some of the other City sides that I've seen over the years, but I can't do that. Like, is that foolish of me, Mo? Should I have more faith in Arsenal winning this league or what? Where are you at?
Should have more faith in Liverpool winning the league, not Arsenal. Liverpool before Arsenal. They're the easiest fixture list. Man City going to Anfield. I know you're thinking that, yeah, I should think Man City will win at Anfield. I'm telling you, Liverpool are the favorites. Second are Man City. Third are Arsenal. But you should have more faith in Arsenal at the current moment. Over the past 10 years, if there is an Arsenal team that I saw that might go to the Etihad and get a point to stay in the race, it's this particular team with the defensive solidity, to be honest with you. I have not seen a team like Arsenal from Arsenal Football Club in the past years, not as long as I can remember. Listen, I watched the Invincibles and I watched the teams before that. But over the past, like, since Man City came to the picture, an Arsenal team that can go to the Etihad and actually get a point. You can actually be the team that is mature enough to go to the Etihad and just get the point. And at that time, who knows? You might be ahead. There might be actually a draw tomorrow, and you might be ahead. It depends, to be honest. But you should have more faith in Arsenal, to be honest. Unless you got a major injury. I think if Saliba or Gabriel get injured, you're done out there. Again, you're just done. It's gonna be over for you, bro.
Well, that's what happened last year.
Saliba got injured and then
and then it went wrong. We were trying to win the league with Rob Holding.
Exactly.
Rich,
it worked for 2 games. Only 2 games.
Yeah.
The first 2 games he played, it worked. I remember that game weeks, I think 27, 28, and then
Palace
bang,
at home, and then
it's gone,
Palace at
bro.
home, and then someone else. I can't remember.
And then it was gone.
And everyone
bro.
went, "Oh, Holding's doing all right," and then it just went wrong. But that's what was going to happen. He can't even get in the Palace side. I mean, there we go. Rich, talk to me, man. Arsenal, this season. What have you made of us? And do you think we can get one further across the line this time and actually go and win silverware, be it the Champions League or the Premier League?
I think Arsenal are definitely a different proposition this season. They seem to have that little bit more streetwiseness about them. You know, obviously Rice has come in and done incredibly well. Like Mo said, that centre-back partnership as well is excellent. Have they quite got enough to haul in Liverpool and Man City? I think you might be able to haul one of them in if it was like just one, but 2, I think that's really, really difficult. But yeah, I think probably a different context to last season. Like you've certainly been more like there's been more consistency about the way that you guys play, and yeah, I think you'll push it all the way. I just don't quite think you'll have enough, unfortunately for you guys, Arsenal fans. But yeah, I think it's been a pretty good season. Like, to be honest, now at the minute you're absolutely on fire. Is it like 31 goals or something in 7 games? It's absolutely on fire. So no team's going to want to play against you. And that's one thing for sure. So, yeah, I think just about probably not quite enough. Champions League, I agree with Mo. I think you guys are the dark horses for it. I think you've got a good chance. You kind of turn Porto over next week. I think you've got a good shot at going all the way.
Wow.
Experience is going to play a massive part in this Champions League campaign. You might look on paper better than Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, and then you play them, and then bang, you're just out. without you like, oh yeah, we won 1-0 at the Emirates, and then you go like and you lose 3-1, or you get a draw somewhere and then you lose 2-1. It's just experience in the Champions League is just massive.
Yeah, I mean, the draw for me doesn't really matter because once you get past Porto, we're going to get a huge side, whether it be Inter Milan, whether it be Real Madrid, whether it be Bayern Munich. It's going to be huge. So I don't think you can sit there and try and, everybody wants the winners of PSV Dortmund, right? But only one team's going to get them. The others are going to be drawn against each other. It's going to be incredible. But to close the show, Mo, let me ask you this lastly. How many points, like honestly, do you think Arsenal, City, and Liverpool can actually afford to drop to feel confident they're still going to go do this? Because a lot of people are looking at it thinking, can't really drop more than one game, can't really drop more than 2 draws, can't really drop more than it. I don't have a clue what it is right now. Football's a funny game, and anything can happen. But what are you saying? Like anybody that is serious about still being in this, what can they not afford to drop more than?
4 points.
Okay, that makes sense.
4 points. I think if you drop more than 4 points, I think you're out of the race.
Wow.
I actually think if Man City lose this game, I think that will put them third favorite and by far.
Wow.
I'm being serious, by the way.
Wow.
They'll be 4 points behind Liverpool with 10 games left, and they still play Arsenal, and they play Villa, and they play Brighton away. Liverpool have Everton. This is their team, and they have Man United away. When you ask Liverpool fans, and I did the show with Hussam yesterday, he's like, "Oh, we're underdogs." I'm like, "Who do you play, bro?" He's like, I'm told him if you win against City, you're massive favorites. He's like, "Yeah, but we play Man United away, and we play Everton." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? These people play Aston Villa, they still play Brighton, they still play Arsenal, and Arsenal still go to the Etihad. So come on, Liverpool win this game, they're massive favorites." And I said it many times, it'll be a bottle job if they lose it. Okay, let me just establish this. If Liverpool wins Sunday and they lose the title to Man City from there, it's a bottle job.
Bottle jobs, they'll be called.
Am I right though, Dan? If you guys beat Brentford, Liverpool, if Liverpool, Man City draw, you guys beat Brentford,
We top.
yeah,
Goal difference.
yeah.
Arsenal
But
top and
at
goal
that
difference.
time, they are still third favorites. Even if that happens, because the fact that they just go to the Etihad makes them third favorites. They are theoretically 3 points behind Liverpool. Does that
I
make
agree
sense?
with that. I can't
Like,
even defend my club on that.
theoretically,
I
you know
agree
what I
with
mean? Theoretically,
Yeah, of course.
you wouldn't ask an Arsenal fan who is like you know what? Not the hopeful ones. You'd ask any pundit, any neutral, would say, any team going to the Etihad now, do you think they will win? It's like, no, they will lose.
If we
as you
lose,
said.
if we lose at the Etihad, is that it for Arsenal's title?
No. Depends on the result tomorrow.
Yeah.
Remember, you can be 1 point ahead of them, and at that time, Man City, if they beat you, they'll only be 2 points ahead of you. There are still, and you are ahead of goal differential. So it takes one draw from Man City in any other game, and we have seen them drawn to Palace. We have seen them before drop points, and you are with them. The problem is, you will be 4 points behind Liverpool, which is, I don't think they will drop that many points.
It's going to be so tight, man. It's going to be interesting
Yes.
to see. It's going to be a great. This is what it's all about, man. The last part of the season, the March, April, May side of things is just so exciting for what we got to come ahead. And honestly, this title race is mad. And to think that Villa and Spurs have got such a big play in this as well. They got to play all of them. Like both teams have got to play all of them. I think it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, this is going to be mad. Personally, I think the results 2-1 City, and I think Villa Spurs will be 2-2. Mo, what did you say for both games?
Your Villa Spurs, I think it will be 2-2, and I think for Liverpool and Man City will be 1-1.
Rich?
3-2 Villa and 2-1 Man City.
Yeah, interesting, man. Let's see what the poll says for the Liverpool-Man City game. Right now, a lot of people saying draw. 47% of you saying draw. 36% say Liverpool. And only 17% have Man City to win this game. That is incredible. Fair play. Listen, my thanks to Deji, who come on earlier, who's definitely still taking the Spurs pills, bless him. My thanks to Rich from Villa Park Pod. Make sure you go follow Villa Park Podcast on all platforms, please. Make sure you go follow him on socials. And of course, make sure you're following Mo. You probably already are, but if you're not, where have you been? Footy Judge Mo. Make sure you go over there and hit the subscribe button. Reaching 20k pretty soon, it looks like, as well. So, guys, do me a favor, smash the likes up, hit the subscribe button as you go out, and we will see you next time. Take it easy, people.